family attorney Darnell Crossland.
Someone introduced those drugs to her system, and it wasn't her. And we want answers right now.
A warning this tax season. Your refund may be delayed because of the Great Resignation. CBS's Scott McFarland.
The agency is warning of severe understaffing. A wave of retirements and budget cuts have hammered the IRS. A report by the National reveals the IRS received 282 million phone calls from taxpayers, but was able to answer only about 11% of them. The report adds the lucky ones who did get through waited an average of 23 minutes on hold.
Pope Francis is putting in a plug for tax collectors. Speaking at the Vatican to members of Italy's version of the IRS, he called their jobs thankless, but vital for a fair society to function, even though they're often seen as having their hands in other people's pockets. He says it's especially crucial to make sure the wealthy are paying up so they don't crush the weakest members of society. The Bengals are going someplace they haven't gone in 33 years.
We're going to the Super Bowl! Yep, exactly right. That's where we're going. Listen, nope, we ain't doing it. Guess what? Yes, we are.
Stunned the Chiefs 27-24 in overtime. Now they face the Rams after LA beat the 49ers 20-17 in a fourth quarter turnaround. This is CBS News.
Something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
It's been a challenging year. Asking for help can be hard, but finding it doesn't have to be. If you need help with your energy and other bills, call 211 or visit mi211.org for access to the help you need.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug. It's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
It's 23 degrees at 9:05. Good morning, I'm Dave Maurer. A 28-year-old Orion woman was fatally injured in a Saturday evening crash in Shiawassee County's Venice Township that left 3 others seriously hurt, according to investigators from the Michigan State Police Flint Post. The crash took place around 9:30 Saturday at the intersection of M21 and Vernon Road. A 25-year-old Dearborn man failed to stop at the intersection and hit a vehicle driving westbound. The driver and his passenger, a 32-year-old Taylor man, were seriously injured in the crash. Both adults in the westbound car were ejected from their vehicle. The driver man suffered life-threatening injuries, while the passenger suffered fatal injuries. An infant in the car was in a child safety seat and was not injured in the crash. Police say they believe alcohol and speed contributed to the crash. Police in Midland are looking for a missing 14-year-old girl. Mariah Lyric Douglas was last seen on Friday and was reported as a runaway by her mother. She was wearing a dark-colored fuzzy pajama pants and an oversized black and red hooded sweatshirt. She may be wearing a blue winter jacket. She has multiple nose piercings and large gauge hoops in both ears and braces. She stands at 5'2", weighs 98 pounds, and has curly black hair just above the shoulders. Police say she may be with her boyfriend, 15-year-old Elario Amar Silva. Anyone with information on Douglas's whereabouts is asked to call the Midland Police Department. A fire was reported in a Birch Run hotel. Saginaw County Central Dispatch reported the fire at the Country Inn and Estates on South Byre Road. The fire occurred around 8:20 p.m. There's currently no word on the amount of damage sustained or if anyone was injured. A fire broke out at a St. Charles home last Friday. Fire crews from multiple departments responded to the home on East Clinton Street. Heavy smoke and water damage reported. The family who lived there were able to evacuate safely thanks to smoke detectors. The fire is under investigation. Catholic school students in all 12 schools across the Catholic Diocese of Saginaw are participating in the nationwide Catholic Schools Week celebration this week. Bishop Robert Gruss said this Catholic Schools Week, we give thanks to the families, teachers, and many faithful who continue to make schools thrive. Bishop Gruss added, our schools experienced a 6.5% increase in enrollment this year, and it is a blessing to welcome our new families. The week-long national observance of highlights the many contributions of Catholic schools to the church and greater community. In addition to the service projects planned in the community, special masses and fun school activities will be taking place. The Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy is holding a public comment period for an air permit requested by General Motors. Details from Michael Cohen.
The comment period will remain open until March 14th. GM is proposing to make changes to the automotive manufacturing process at its plant on East Grand Boulevard in Detroit. Automotive manufacturing facilities requesting changes, such as what GM is requesting, must have an air permit to limit the emissions and ensure the request will meet air quality standards, including health-based standards. Michael Cohen for the Michigan News Network.
WSGW News Time 9:08.
At Wildfire Credit Union, our team will tell you that everything we do is for our members because it's about you always.
Recently, I was working with a member to purchase an auto loan and saw an opportunity to help them save some money. By refinancing their credit card debt, we were able to save them over $600 a month. This is one of the many ways that we deliver outstanding service to our members.
Delivering marvelous experiences, saving members personalized service, going the extra mile. That's Wildfire Credit Union. It's what we do every day. Find out for yourself. Call 800-227-2328. Click on wildfirecu.org or come by any Wildfire location to experience banking the way it's supposed to be, where it's about you, always. Wildfire Credit Union, distinctively better. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender. These are actual examples of savings in
WSGW News Time now 9:09. Applications for 2 conservation officer academies to be offered this year. Applications are due by Monday, February 28th. The first 2 steps to applying for the academy is a physical fitness test and entry-level law enforcement exam. You can sign up for the physical fitness test offered through the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards at various locations around the state, including at Delta College on February 13th. Required to have a college education, background in law enforcement, or fish and game experience. All recruits receive comprehensive training during the academy and are paired with veteran DNR conservation officers during their first assignments after graduation. Visit the Michigan DNR website for more information. This is a big deal for people who love winter sports. The I-500 Snowmobile race kicks off today in Sault Ste. Marie with a whole week of activities.
We get contestants from across the United States and Canada, professional racers, and they come in on Monday and they set up. On Tuesday, they start time trials, but on Monday, we open our track meeting.
That's race chairman Rick Federow, who says there's a kids snowmobile race, a vintage snowmobile race with the I-500 on Saturday. He says 38 teams compete in the endurance race, which was modeled after the Indianapolis 500. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It's 9:10. I'm Dave Maurer.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. For today, we'll see mostly sunny skies and a high around 30. For tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 20 degrees. As we go into Tuesday, we'll see isolated rain, mostly cloudy skies and a high of 40. South winds gust up to 30 miles per hour. For Wednesday, snow showers likely. We're looking at about 1 to 2 inches of snow accumulation. We'll see cloudy skies and a high of 30 degrees. Thursday, more chances for isolated snow showers with cloudy skies and a high around 18. Friday, partly sunny with a high of 15. I'm meteorologist Amanda Edwards with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently 22.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around. Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Well, good morning to you. Welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW Radio from my home studio, the Saginaw Spirit Home Studio. And our program is sponsored by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty, located at the Point, M46 and M47 in Saginaw. You can give her a call at 989-295-7713 for all of your residential and commercial real estate needs, or stop in and visit her. And while you're there, visit Cafe 476 because you'll find delicious soups and foods and beverages waiting for you inside the Point, the home of Pinnacle Realty. Format for this morning, we have open phones this hour. Next hour, we're going to talk to Dr. Tim Nash, Executive Director of the Mcnair Center at Northwood University. We're going to talk about the economy. And at 11 o'clock on Focus this morning, we'll be focusing on applied training solutions. So that's what's ahead for you. But this hour, open phones here on WSGW. And I want to start out by talking about the Super Bowl. Yes, the Super Bowl. Get ready, hypesters, because you are about to be hyped to the nth degree, because the Super Bowl will be the next and last NFL game of the season. And hallelujah, some new faces. We will see our very own Matthew Stafford in the Super Bowl. You remember him, the Lion that was traded away to the Rams, who now finds himself in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that guy. Just proves what happens when you put a team around a great star. Great stars are great, but if they don't have a team around them, they can't excel. And he certainly has excelled. And the other quarterback that we will see, Mr. Garofalo, and he will also have a great team. These are two great teams. I mean, there's no hiding it. I said Garofalo. I did not mean Garofalo. I meant Burrows. For the Bengals. And the Bengals were 13-7 on the season, including their playoffs. They defeated Kansas City and the almost invincible Mahomes. So it's, I think, it's going to be an interesting Super Bowl. I just, first of all, I'm thrilled that there's two teams that haven't been there in a while. That it's not the usual suspects. We're seeing the same thing over and over again. What was interesting was during the playoffs. I mean, two of the biggest names in the sport, Brady and Mahomes, were both knocked out of Super Bowl contention, and Brady has announced now that he's going to retire, become the best dad he could be. I have to tell you this. I have never been a Tom Brady fan, although I respect his ability with the football. But I've never been a fan until now. When I heard him say that, he's the retirement, and he can't retire until something like February 14th because there's millions of dollars at stake in a player bonus. So he's not leaving until then. But when I heard him say, you know, that he wants to be the best dad and husband he can be, kudos to Tom Brady. Absolutely. Aaron Rodgers, what happens to him now in the future? After all the talk last year about him not wanting to go back to Green Bay and everything, they made peace and he went back to Green Bay and purported himself very well. So what does he do now? Speculation is Aaron Rodgers will be in a different uniform. Same kind of speculation there was when Brady reached the end of the contract with the Patriots. You know, the speculation was, well, will he leave or won't he leave? A lot of folks, and I have to admit, including myself, thought that he was a Patriot till the end. Turns out, I was wrong. Aaron Rodgers, while, you know, he's a cheesehead, Green Bayer to life, I would not be surprised if he went somewhere else. I would not be surprised if he retired, although he doesn't seem to be in that vein. But you never know. So time will tell, but I am glad to see that in this Super Bowl, we're going to see two different teams. And my sentimental pick is going to be Matthew Stafford. Because while we didn't surround him with a great team here in Detroit, he purported himself very well for us. And I'm happy to see him have a shot at a Super Bowl ring. So he's going to be my sentimental favorite. Al is in Midland. Al, good morning.
Sir.
Morning.
Thank you for into the conversation today. I was driving along the other day, probably Thursday, following behind a car and a license plate. These personalized license plates, you see them and you try to figure out what things mean.
Yep.
Well, this was kind of a strange one. It spelled out the word coffin with the letter I being a number 1. So apparently somebody else already has the license plate with coffin with the I. So I just thought it was kind of strange.
So what do you think? A funeral director?
He was driving a Pontiac sedan, so I don't know. Didn't look like a hearse or anything.
Well, no, but it's his personal car.
Yeah, but wouldn't they drive a little more sporty?
I don't know. Depends on the individual.
I just thought it was kind of strange.
Interesting.
I've never had a personalized license.
I never have either.
Amateur call letters.
Yeah, I had amateur call letters, but I never had a plate for it.
Yeah, well, the amateur call letters were kind of interesting for this area. When you're east of the Mississippi, they usually give you a W for the first letter.
Yeah, not always, but usually.
Yeah, and my dad's call letter was K8SQB.
And mine was WA2EUU.
And his moved out to California when my brother Rick took it up, so it moved back to where it should have been.
Yeah, well, you have to remember that in the early days of radio, even though W's were east of the Mississippi and K's were west, KDKA was in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, right.
So there have been exceptions. There have been exceptions.
Yeah, I even listened to that station a long time ago. They were paled up on the same frequency WKNX was.
Yeah,
1210.
Well, I actually thought of reapplying for my old call letters, take the test and reapply.
Right.
But then I looked them up and found out they'd been issued to somebody else, so I was out of luck.
That's too bad. Yeah, well, yeah, they only have so many to go around. They got to recycle them. So.
Yep. Those are the days.
We've got a 50-foot high gain antenna tower in the backyard of the parents' house that we're trying to figure out how to get rid of.
Call a contractor.
Yeah, it may be worth more than scrap metal than anything else.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Good enough.
Nice talking to you, sir.
Same here, Al.
Good
Thanks.
morning.
Bye-bye
Bye
now.
now.
All right, that opens the lines. I should give you the numbers. Saginaw, Bay City, 989-752-6111. That's pretty much good for everywhere because they don't charge you long distance and roaming for the most part anymore. But there is a toll-free number inside the state of Michigan, 866-790-WSGW. That'll put you in touch with us to talk about whatever you want. Super Bowl, doesn't matter. We'd love to chat with you this morning, and we will take time out for these notes and then be back to do just that.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Watching TaxSlayer calculate your refund feels like climbing to the apex of a roller coaster. Here we go! And flying down the tracks. Maximum refund speed. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom. With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with the Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Connects.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here always giving you the deals that you need. You can get tons of half-off deals going on right now from Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Palette, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The Dow Jones Industrial brutal month with the largest losses for January since the 2009 financial crisis. Digital workspace company Citrix Systems is being sold to two investment firms, Vista Equity Partners and Evergreen Coast Capital. Citrix will become a private company. Shareholders will receive $104 for each share they own. Quest Diagnostics will be selling you medical tests you can do yourself. The tests will be available on the Walmart website. Quest says more than 50 tests will be available. Each purchase will be reviewed and, if appropriate, ordered by a licensed physician. Detailed instructions will be sent to people for some tests. For others, people will be referred to a Quest location. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
After 9/11, Saul Martinez couldn't wait to enlist. In Iraq, his vehicle was hit by a projectile improvised explosive device. Saul survived, but he lost both legs, suffered a traumatic brain injury, and lost two close friends. Saul now lives in a smart home from the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which gave him back his independence despite his severe physical challenges. Help heroes like Saul. Donate 11 Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
This is a test. WSGW is conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This is a test of the emergency alert system on WSGW. Equipment that can quickly warn you during emergencies is being tested. WSGW serves Saginaw, Bay, and Midland counties, along with the surrounding area. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system on WSGW. The WSGW Morning Team Show.
WSW online poll, United States, Russia, Ukraine. In response to concerns, Russian President Vladimir Putin may direct an invasion of Ukraine. President Biden is considering the deployment of U.S. troops to NATO allies in that region. Says the United States has an obligation to help defend NATO countries.
We have
NATO, and we believe it is also in our interest to support our eastern flank countries.
Troops would not be in Ukraine because Ukraine is not a NATO country. Though the president says we have a great concern about what's happening there. The Biden administration officials say the goal is to show unity and strength within NATO and deter Russian aggression against allies in that region. Russia's denying any plans to invade Ukraine and actually has said the West is doing nothing more than stroking tensions. Poll question: would you support troops being sent to NATO allies in the Ukraine region to help defend against any Russian aggression? You vote yes, you vote no, you vote I'm not sure. Vote by going to WSW.com. You scroll down the homepage, find the poll box, and you can vote that way.
The Morning Team Show, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
Going wide, cuts out in front of the Red Wing goal, slows it down, shoots, Pickard the save, and the Red Wings win the game in a shootout.
The Red Wings play 7:15 tonight on 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back here on WSGW, the Art Lewis Show. How many of you remember the book 1984, in which Big Brother had cameras everywhere for everything, watching your every move, every bit of the day? And we all kind of went, yeah, sure, you know. Well, slowly but surely, haven't we moved toward 1984? There's facial recognition in a lot of places, cameras everywhere. Well, here are two headlines that ought to really wake you up to this situation. First headline: IRS plan to scan your face. Prompts anger in Congress, confusion among taxpayers. They apparently have bought an $84 million contract with a company called ID.me, which will require you eventually, if you wish to go on the IRS website to see anything about your taxes, refunds, child credits, you name it, you will be required to scan your face into the system so this company will verify that it's you. Second headline, this one from the Daily Mail in England. The speed camera nightmare that's coming to America. How the UK's hated war on motorists, costing drivers $56 million in fines every year, provides a chilling glimpse of what's in store under Pete Buttigieg's plan. Apparently, Buttigieg on Thursday revealed plans to promote speed cameras across the United States, part of a safety package backed by a $14 billion funding. And also understand that in the United States, there are at least 7 states that have already outlawed speed cameras and won't allow them. Buttigieg's road safety plan runs 42 pages, was unveiled on Thursday, and the new infrastructure bill apparently had $14 billion in it, but contained only a brief mention of the speed camera plan, but enough to alarm those who happen to catch it. And that's the thing about these bills. You look at this infrastructure bill at, 1.4 trillion or whatever it was, 1.9. I forgot now how much it was. It was a lot of money. Thousands of pages. Who knows what's tucked inside those bills? Like, certainly before it was passed, nobody was talking about speed cameras because they knew that would raise the ire of most people in this country. Now, I agree that we need better traffic safety in this country. I believe we need better traffic enforcement in this country. I believe in the Ohio system, where they have an Ohio State Highway Patrol. That's all they do. They are not the responding police to domestic calls and things like that. They are charged with maintaining the highways in a safe condition. Now, I've put that notion forth a number of times, including to many friends of mine in the Michigan State Police who poo-poo the idea, saying, "Oh, we do traffic and we can handle it." I respectfully disagree. I think there should be if you will, a traffic division of the MSP. If we don't want a separate Michigan Highway Patrol and MHP, that's fine as long as we have a traffic division. That's all they do. You're a traffic officer. You're responsible for the highways and speed and reckless driving and accident reports. Because remember now, if there's an accident that MSP responds to on, let's say, the interstate, that means those officers aren't responding to other calls, which are out there. So I have long been a fan of a dedicated highway patrol that would do nothing but do exactly that: patrol the highways, take care of traffic in this state. But again, I do not expect it to happen. Now, the state police do from time to time assign officers to highway use for particular events and enforcement, enhanced enforcement, and I understand that. I would just like to see it year round. So anyway, Russ is in Bay City. Russ, good morning.
Good morning, Art. You brought up the book 1984. And one of the most interesting things I found about that book was the twist at the end. When we got to find out that Goldstein, the book's nemesis, was in on it the whole time. He was part of the whole Big Brother system.
Yeah. Yeah. But the part of the book, though, that stands out, I think, to almost everyone is that the sheer amount of scrutiny that the average citizen was placed under.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the book. I mean, that's the book. Who was involved in it? Yeah, I know that the nemesis was involved and all that stuff, but you don't walk away remembering that. You walk away remembering the sheer amount of scrutiny that Big Brother did.
The reason I was talking about the Goldstein being a nemesis is today it so reminds me of Vladimir Putin. Oh, Putin this and Putin that. But the people who are screaming about Putin the loudest are doing things that benefit him the most.
Yeah, Putin's not involved in our scrutiny. No.
I mean, you look at Biden, Putin this and Putin that.
Yeah, but it's so Putin's. I do not remember a president in the last couple of decades in which we weren't talking about Putin. And I understand what you're saying. I just find
it an interesting correlation.
Well, it's an interesting correlation. I'll give you that. But I'm not in the camp that says we're doing stuff just to enhance Putin. I don't buy that at all. Not at all.
Oh, I didn't say just to enhance him, but I think he's in on it.
Well,
I think he's in with the global progressives.
Well, I think he's in for his own self-interest.
They all are. I mean, yeah, every single one of them.
All right.
But I mean, just an idea.
Good enough. Thanks,
You have a
Russ.
great day.
Take care. Bye-bye. Scott, hang on. You're going to be up next here on the Art Lewis Show.
We've all can be, but here's one thing you can count on. The Covenant Center for the Heart is here for you. More people in the Great Lakes Bay region trust their hearts to Covenant Healthcare than any other area hospital. Why? Because we have the most comprehensive cardiac care in the region. From diagnosis in our chest pain center, to the region's first structural heart disease program, to our cardiac rehabilitation and wellness center. And because we keep our patients safe, Covenant has been awarded an A rating for patient safety from the Leapfrog Group 7 times running. So if you have an existing heart condition, call your cardiologist. If you experience symptoms like chest pain or shortness of breath, call 911 or come to the Covenant Emergency Care Center. Don't delay care. Life and hearts can be unpredictable. Trust yours to Covenant Healthcare, the leader for extraordinary care.
Rocket Grab Plus. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for Applied Training Solutions in Midland. You can get a 4-person private event, 60-minute firearm virtual training for only $50. It's usually $100, but you are getting it half off. Or you can also take a CPL class from Applied Training Solutions for only $75. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Hello, Michigan. I'm John Gonzalez.
And I'm Amy Sherman. We've got big news.
We're back! And you can join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as we once again go behind the midnight.
We'll take you to every corner of the state, sharing the stories that make Michigan great.
Find a hidden gem or a new favorite spot that might be located right in your hometown.
We'll go east our way across the state.
Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 100.5 and 790 News Radio, WSGW. This is the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center Studios, 100.5 and 790 WSGW.
Hi, we're back here on WSGW, the Art Lewis Show, and Scott is in Saginaw. Scott, good morning.
Hey, did you happen to catch Officer Rivera's wife's eulogy the other day?
Yeah, she sure came out against the DA, didn't she?
Very sad. And she said something, I cried almost all the way through that thing. And she said something that was very alarming. She said, even the men and women in blue aren't safe. I believe 73 officers last year under this administration were assassinated, not murdered. They were, they were assassinated.
Yeah. Well, hang on a minute, Scott. Hang on a minute, Scott. I understand what you're saying, but that's not this administration. If you look at these things, you got to look at the individual communities and who's running them. It may be the same side of the aisle, but I don't lay that on Joe Biden's shoulders because he's not telling them what to do.
I'm going to say what Joe Biden said. He said, yes, absolutely, yes, we will redirect funding from the police.
Yeah, I know that, but he didn't.
Democrats, and these stupid Democrats keep yanking money from them, and our police officers are getting murdered in the street.
Yeah, they are changing their minds, though. I'll tell you what, these communities are learning that defunding the police did nothing but make their crime worse. Now, there is still some really ignorant DAs out there that think only they're right, but a lot of the communities have started to refund police rather than defund them because they found out what a mistake it was.
But it still comes from the top. We have to go back to Joe Biden. He said we're going to redirect the funding. His VP said these assassinations, these attacks, these robbings, this looting, this rioting is going to continue. They're not going to stop. This is the left, Art.
Well, yeah,
This is what they
I'll,
brought into
I'll,
this
I'll
country.
agree that I'll agree with the left. Yes, I'm not going to put it all on Biden's shoulders. I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around on that side.
Well, there is, but he's not. Where's our strong president? He's stronger against Putin than he needs to protect us. He needs to protect the American people. We have wide open borders. We see the Obama placed 70,000 Somalians in the 5th district of Minnesota. The result of that was Omar, anti-American, anti-Jew representative.
Yep.
We're in a bad place because of these Democrats. They're putting people in place that hate America. They're defunding our police, and they're making it unsafe.
Well, a lot of that's true.
And I'm glad Aaron Stafford's making it.
Yeah, I
Go
think
Stafford.
that's cool that Matthew Stafford's going to be in a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, it points out the weaknesses of the Detroit Lions over the many years he was here, because he was a talented kid, but you didn't have any talent around him. Or occasionally there was one or two, but you got to have protection for your quarterback. You have to have people that can make the plays when they're supposed to make the plays. And, he's still Matthew Stafford. He still has the same abilities and capabilities. But look what happens when you put him in a situation where they got a team around him.
And good play calling.
Yeah, I'll give you that too. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Even with the Lions, we've seen the difference after the coach started taking over that. Lions, I think, went 3-6.
They picked up. They won some games. Yeah. I have to tell you, I'm so far impressed with the coach. I think if they get the right pieces of the puzzle and draft properly, they have a chance to be a decent team. I think they showed sparks of it this year, but they got a ways to go yet.
I actually think they're one of the most exciting teams to watch. I mean, it'll be 4th and 23,
Yep.
and they go for it and make it.
And not only that, even though they had a horrific losing record, they were in almost every one of those games. There were very few blowouts. They were in it till the end, where they almost could have won at the end. So, I mean, that credit them for what they get. I'm hopeful for the future. Let's put it that way.
Well, go blue next year in the playoffs.
All right. Good enough, Scott. Thanks a lot, buddy. Take care. Bye-bye now. And that opened up the lines for you here on WSGW. I'm serious about that, though. I think that the Lions have potential. We haven't talked about potential for the Lions for a long time. I think they have potential. And I also think the Tigers have potential. They have a lot of young talent in the farm system, which is, in the old days, I mean, when I grew up many moons ago in New York, watching the then dominant New York Yankees, it was all because they had a farm system. They could pluck people up from the farm system at a moment's notice and have instant quality on the field. And, those were the days, because those were the days before free agency and all of that stuff came along, when all of a sudden teams had to put money into singular players rather than money they might have put in their farm system. But I have always been a subscriber to the theory that the farm system is your future. So anyway, enough of that. I know. Line's open for you. Give us a call. Want to talk about that or anything else? We're here for you here on the Art Lewis Show on WSGW.
It's time to think about your pig. Your backyard that heats your home? Well, there's no better company to fill your pig than Forward Energy, covering 23 counties. Forward Energy is a family-owned and operated propane supplier that's been fueling area homes, farms, and businesses since 1925. Fill your pig this year. Visit forwardenergy.com to find out about new customer pricing and programs.
Go forward with Forward Energy.
And now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that non-contact thermometers are not accurate. They also have inaccurate information on their labels regarding accuracy. New And non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
If you've ever ordered food for work, you understand. It's different. There's just so much more at stake. Whether it's a meeting, a client call, or lunch with the office, it has to arrive at the actual lunchtime. Food for work has to work. That's why there's Easy Cater. Food that's on time and as ordered from over 82,000 restaurants. And if there's a problem, rare, you can reach someone in seconds.
Thank you for calling Easy Cater.
Some food just doesn't work at work, but Easy Cater just does. Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug. It's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril around the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Now, a WSGW Morning Team Show memorable moment. A parade of hearses is planned in the Michigan community of Hell, part of an attempt to regain a spot in the record books. The Hell Fest Nightmare Cruise is Saturday, west of Detroit. The parade follows an all-hearse car show, and the Hell-based car club called Just Hearsin' Around says it's trying to take back a Guinness World Records mark set last year when 51 vehicles made the parade. That got the event a Guinness World Records honor, but organizers say a hearse parade in the Netherlands has since brought out 107. So there's a number they've got to beat.
So they did lose the record, but they're going to try and get it back.
They're going to try to get it back. So I don't know where in hell they're going to get more than 107 hearses, but good luck with that.
Just reporting the news.
I understand. It's just
news.
It's a small town. Yeah, they can't have that many funeral directors.
The Morning Team Show. 30 to 9 on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
Check out the WSGW Sports Broadcast page on WSGW.com. Want to know when and which WSGW station you can hear the Tigers, Red Wings, Michigan football and basketball, Saginaw Spirit hockey, and SVSU football? Click on the Sports Broadcast box on WSGW.com.
Hi, we're back here on WSGW. Listen, we've given you so much bad news this morning. I thought we'd give you a little bit more. Not political. Nope, no politics involved in this at all. But I found this an interesting article. It was in Fox News. The headline is, "The Worst Foods for Your Health," according to experts. Now, I could probably not read the list and ask you what you thought the number one worst food for your health is. And I'll bet you out of 100 people, 90 would get it right. The number one worst foods for your health, according to these experts, bacon. And everything is better with bacon. Who are they kidding? Bacon is the worst food for your health. And that apparently is from the World Health Organization. But you know what's next, which surprises me? Turkey bacon. Yes, turkey bacon is second on the list. The next staple of the American diet, which is the third worst food for you, fried food. You notice they're stripping you of everything you like, right? Including what's next at number 4, the fourth worst food for you. But potato chips. Then they go on, and we will all disagree with this around here. Added sugars. I can see the folks at Michigan Sugar wincing at that. Processed oils are next on the list at number 6, like grapeseed, soybean, canola, cottonseed, corn, vegetable oil. They all come in as detrimental because they are processed oils. Hydrogenated fats. Well, we kind of knew that category of fats. Most packaged foods have some of it in there. Refined carbohydrates. That includes white bread, white rice, pasta, pastries, pizza, and more. Now, I have to tell you, I remember as a kid in New York City going down to Union Square in a park, a big park down there. And people would literally be up on soapboxes. They had wooden crates they stood on. And they were warning us of the disaster ahead because of white bread. I mean, literally, there would be speakers on these soapboxes yelling out how white bread was bad for you. And here we are today. Well, guess what? It made the list of foods that are bad for you. Oh, my goodness. So far, they've taken away everything we like to eat, right? How about after white bread? Let's see here. Oh, breakfast sausages, number 9 on the list. And finally, number 10, the worst foods for you, processed meat. And this whole category, which is in addition to breakfast sausage, bacon, turkey bacon, and all that, includes, are you ready? And I'm sure you would guess this. Hot dogs are bad for you. Deli meats, packaged bologna, beef jerky, pepperoni, and more. Well, there goes that pizza out the window. They should all be avoided as much as possible, if not eliminated completely from your diet. Studies show that people that eat an abundance of processed meats are more likely to have high blood pressure, heart disease, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease as well. So the article ends, if you're looking to make this year your healthiest yet, go look for a list of 9 superfoods that you can eat rather than the unhealthy ones. And the cover photo of this article is a delicious looking picture of bacon frying on a griddle top. Oh, they tell us how unhealthy it is, but they make it look so good. Oh my goodness. Well, you know, we have all known for a long, long time that the American diet is not the healthiest diet in the world, that we have a lot of obesity in this country, and that, yes, we could reduce heart disease and pulmonary disorders of all kinds if we would mind our manners at the dinner table and eat only things that are good for us. It's not likely to happen. Now, individually, as we get older and sicker, and you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you know, Mr. or Mrs. Jones, you should be watching your diet. Sometimes we take note and we make slight modifications. But it always amused me that we go to the doctor, we pay them a lot of money, and then we go home and totally ignore their advice. Could have saved that money when you think about it. But it's true. It's very true. We pay docs a lot of money, and then we regularly ignore their advice, or we parse out their advice. By that I mean, well, okay, he said I can't eat this and I can't eat that, and I can't. Well, maybe I'll drop this one, but I'm going to eat the other two. So, we really only have ourselves to blame for the obesity in this country and for the high incidence of type 2 diabetes, for example. I think it's estimated that at least a third of the country suffers from it, and probably a lot more that don't even know they have it because either they don't go to the doctor regularly or they haven't gotten the proper lab tests in recent years. So it's certainly something to pay attention to. But you read an article like that, and it's every one of our favorite foods is on the list. So it tends to slow you down in terms of really wanting to do something healthy, if you will, and improve your lot in life. We will take a break. Be back to close out this hour of the Art Lewis Show.
Add a stylish look to your bathroom with help from Menards. Max has more than 1,000 bathtubs, shower kits, and shower doors to add luxury to your life. Our selection of Hannah shower kits come in finishes like brushed nickel, chrome, dark bronze, and matte black, and modern lines, chic hardware, and a reversible configuration for left or right installation. Save big money with Max bathroom products. Now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Watching TaxSlayer calculate your refund feels like climbing to the apex of a roller coaster.
Here we go!
And flying down the tracks. At maximum refund speed. Start for free and get your guarantee. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
If you've ever ordered food for work, you understand. It's different. There's just so much more at stake. Whether it's a meeting, a client call, or lunch with the office that has to arrive at the actual lunchtime, food for work has to work. That's why there's EasyCater. Food that's on time and as ordered from over 82,000 restaurants. And if there's a problem, rare, you can reach someone in seconds.
Thank you for calling EasyCater.
Some food just doesn't work at work, but EasyCater just does. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? So you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
WSGW. Your source for local news and information in the Great Lakes Bay region. 100.5 and 790 News Radio W.
All right, that'll do it for this hour of the Art Lewis Show. I'm looking forward to the next one because I'm going to talk to Dr. Timothy Nash from Northwood University. He's the executive director of the Mcnair Institute, which looks at the economic situation in our country, and he is a brilliant, brilliant man to talk to. Can't wait for that. That's coming up in the next hour, right after the news from CBS and the local report. So stick around. We'll talk to you in just a few minutes.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center Studios.
This is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM. This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The UN Security Council begins a meeting in New York this hour on the Russia-Ukraine crisis and growing signs of a possible invasion. Correspondent Holly Williams is in eastern Ukraine.
On the outskirts of Ukraine's capital, these volunteers do a quick warm-up, training to fight in case there's a Russian attack.
I know Russian very well.
Alexei Vasilchenko works in marketing and told us he served in the Soviet army before Ukraine gained its independence from Moscow.
years ago.
If you want a peace, you should be prepared to war.
In the UK, there are damning findings in the British Prime Minister's Partygate scandal. A just-released report finds serious failures of leadership and judgment at 10 Downing Street, where Boris Johnson has admitted to attending celebrations during COVID lockdowns. Other findings are being withheld until police finish up their investigation. Johnson faces Parliament on the new findings today. Here in the U.S., governors in some states say it's time to get back to normalcy and learn to live with COVID, especially with the spread of a new stealth strain of Omicron. CBS's Dr. David Agus.
You've been exposed to BA.1, the first that you will have immunity, hopefully that will cross over to BA.2. And since so many people have been exposed, I think we're going to see a decline.
Ahmaud Arbery's mother is in court in Georgia right now, asking a judge to scrap a plea agreement between prosecutors and 2 of 3 men convicted in her son's murder.
Wanda Cooper Jones's attorney Lee Merritt tells me the Justice Department believes the plea agreements will ensure a hate crimes conviction and crush the chances of a successful state appeal for Travis and Greg McMichael.
These men are confessing not only to their actions, but to the motivation behind their actions, that it was motivated by hate.
But Ahmaud Arbery's mother is angry it'll make it easier for her son's convicted murderers to serve their time. Merritt says Arbery's mother will object in court. Veronica Waters.
Another record year for diabetes deaths. Here's CBS's Jim Krasula.
It's a grim milestone. More than 100,000 Americans died from diabetes in 2021, marking the second consecutive year that's happened. Medical experts are calling on Congress to overhaul diabetes care and prevention. They want efforts to deal with diabetes similar to the fight against HIV/AIDS. Diabetes deaths have surged during the pandemic.
A former beauty queen has taken her own life.
Congratulations, North Carolina!
Police in New York City say 2019's Miss USA, Chesley Christ, jumped from her high-rise apartment building on 42nd Street. She had an MBA, a law degree, and she was a correspondent for Extra.
She saw a lot of white on the carpet, and she looked so elegant.
Chesley Christ was 30 years old. The Dow is down 85 points. This is CBS News.
Find your next great hire with Indeed. Our hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all in the same place. Visit credit.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan. Vendor.com.
Grab your silk top hat and your best flapper dress and foxtrot the night away with the Disability Network of Mid-Michigan at Feathers and Fedoras, a roaring 20s gala benefiting independent living programs for people with disabilities. Saturday, February 12th. Enjoy delicious food. Dance to the music by Stone Street Revival. Find Lady Luck at the casino. Pick a speakeasy for Giggle Waters. Tickets are $50 per person. RSVP at www.dnmm.org/FAF. Feathers and Fedoras. Saturday, February 12th at Horizons Conference Center in Saginaw.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. So good, you gotta try it. With Straight Talk, you can get our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month. Now with unlimited high-speed data, plus 5 gigabytes hotspot data, and no contract, with nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot for your data when you can get unlimited for a whole lot less? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
It's 23 degrees at 10:05. Good morning. I'm Ian Williams. We could see a big winter storm in Michigan's Lower Peninsula Tuesday night into Thursday. AccuWeather says we could see 6 to 12 inches of snow that could begin as freezing rain Tuesday night. The National Weather Service says the heaviest snow will likely be in the I-69 area, where 8 inches of snow is expected. More people are using COVID-19 at-home tests, especially now that the free kits from the federal government are starting to arrive in the mail. A local doctor has some advice to get the best results. Here's more from Dr. Deanna Lights.
Is Medical Director of Infection Control and Prevention for Henry Ford Health System.
The best time to test is in the first 48 hours of symptoms. If you get a positive test, believe it.
If you get a negative test,
if you've been exposed to COVID but have no symptoms, please isolate for 5 days and test yourself 3 to 5 days. If you have symptoms with a negative at-home test, assume you have COVID and call your doctor or healthcare provider.
Dr. Deanna Lights, the Michigan News Network.
A fire was reported in a Birch Run hotel yesterday. Saginaw County Central Dispatch reported the fire at the Country Inn Estates on South Buyer Road. Fire happened about 8:20 p.m. There's no word on the amount of damage sustained or if anyone was injured. Dow today announced that Mary Drays, Vice President of Environment, Health, and Safety and Chief Sustainability Officer, has announced her decision to retire in April 2022, following more than 32 years of service with Dow. Andre Argentin, Vice President of Core Research, named Vice President, EH&S, and Chief Sustainability Officer, and will assume the role upon Draves' retirement. Argentin will be responsible for corporate EH&S governance and corporate sustainability, including the reporting and disclosure of Dow's environment, social governance performance. WSGW News Time is 10:07.
It's time to think about your pig. You know, the propane tank in your backyard that heats your home? Well, there's no better company to fill your pig than Forward Energy, covering 23 counties. Forward Energy is a family-owned and operated propane supplier that's been fueling area homes, farms, and businesses since 1925. Fill your pig this year. Visit forwardenergy.com to find out about new customer pricing and programs.
Go forward with Forward Energy. RocketGrabPlus.com.
This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is for a in Midland. You can get a 4-person private event, 60-minute firearm virtual training for only $50. It's usually $100, but you are getting it half off. Or you can also take a CPL class from Applied Training Solutions for only $75. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
WSGW News Time is 10:08. The attorney for accused Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley has indicated she will use the insanity defense in her client's murder trial. Legal analyst Charlie Langton says the first step will be to be seen at the Forensic Center for an evaluation.
And what the Forensic Center will do will give an independent opinion, so to speak, about whether or not Ethan Crumbley meets the legal definition of insanity, which essentially means that he's got to suffer from a serious mental illness and that he doesn't know the difference from right and wrong when he committed the crime.
Langton says if the Forensic Center determines Crumbley was not insane at the time of the mass shooting, could hire her own mental health expert to try and prove her case. 15-year-old Crumbley is accused of murder and other crimes in the tragic shooting that claimed the lives of 4 of his fellow students and injured a number of others. The Nature Conservancy has honored 4 farmers and an agribusiness professional for agricultural conservation in the Saginaw Bay watershed. Recipients of the Soil Health Hero Awards were Pole Dairy of Mount Pleasant, Don Morse of Morse Farms in Birch Run, Nate Ruprecht of King Street Dairy in Vassar, Scott Brechtelsbauer of Reese, and Lisa Woodkey of Star of the West Milling in Frankenmuth. Saginaw Bay project manager for the Nature Conservancy, Ben Wickersham, said the honorees are examples of how soil health practices can support resilience while still protecting local water resources. Are you happy in your job? A lot of people are ready to jump ship. Beth Fisher has more.
Somewhat surprisingly, 41% of workers plan to look for a new job within 6 months, and 28% say they would quit without another job lined up, according to research by Robert Half. The company's Neil Gilbert says money is one motivating factor, but there's more.
Some of those employees got used to working at home, and now they're being told to go back into the office, and it's not necessarily something that they enjoy. So with that being the case, they can go and look for new things, but also, again, looking for those promotions, being challenged at work. if you're in a position where you don't have any direct that you have in your mind as far as that advancement in your career, chances are, at least a lot of people are seeing, is it's not going to be where they're at right now.
Gilbert says companies outside the state are recruiting people in Michigan, and often they can work from home. I'm Beth Fisher for the Michigan News Network.
When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom 752-0790. It's 10:10 at 10:11, actually. I'm Ann Williams.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Skies will become mostly sunny here for today with a high around 30 degrees. We'll have winds out of the south around 5 to 10. Tonight, increasing cloud cover and a low around 20. By Tuesday, a slight chance for some rain showers here late, mostly cloudy skies, a high 40 degrees. Then by Wednesday, a chance for some snow showers here, 1 to 2 inches possible to accumulate. Cloudy sky conditions, a high around 29. Thursday, a chance for snow showers here, cloudy, high around 20 degrees. Then by Friday, partial sunshine, a high around 16. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 23.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW from my Saginaw Spirit home studio. Brought to you by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty. For all of your residential and commercial real estate needs, let Linda go to work for you. Give her a call. 989-295-7713. 989-295-7713. Located at the Point, M46 and M47 in Saginaw Township, where you'll also find Cafe 476 with its delicious soups and foods and all kinds of wonderful beverages. For this hour, I get to talk to one of my favorite people to talk to because I've never talked to anyone who has a better handle on the economy than this particular person. He is the director of the Mcnair Center for the Advancement of Free Enterprise and Entrepreneurship at Northwood University. And we say good morning to Dr. Tim Nash. Dr. Nash, good morning to you.
How are you, Art?
We're doing well, sir. And thanks for being with us this morning.
It is my honor. I always enjoy being on your show.
And I want to talk, Tim, about the current Economic Outlook publication, the monthly Economic Outlook that's published at Northwood. As I'm reading it over, I'm asking myself some questions, and I have to ask this question first. We've been told by Washington that this is one of the strongest economies we've ever seen. And I'm wondering, strongest from what? And by that I mean, is it strong because the 5.7% growth figure, for example, is because we've grown the economy that much? Or is that more of a recovery number from the beginning of the pandemic?
Well, I certainly think that in a relative sense, the economy is strong or stronger. I would also say to you and your listeners that the economy is in the general trend slowing. Now, if you take the last quarter GDP, so October, November, December of GDP growth came in at a very impressive 6.9% growth. That was after 2.3% in the third quarter. And so if you look at July, August, September, economic growth was positive, but it was slowing. So it was increasing at a decreasing rate in the third quarter. The fourth quarter is a bit confusing because a big portion of that 6.9% growth was accumulating inventories. And so on the one hand, you can say a lot of the stuff we produce, we haven't sold it. And so if we don't sell it, that's a general sign. When inventories begin to accumulate, that could be a sign of we're just preparing for the next big wave of sales, or It could be we've produced all this stuff, but nobody wants to buy it, and that's the beginning sign of an economic downturn, perhaps a recession. So I would say it's right now the signals are mixed on the economy.
I would wonder if part of that, collection of inventory, so to speak, or increasing of inventory, has to do with the fact they were producing automobiles but couldn't sell them because of the chip shortage.
Well, I think part of that would be automobiles, but it was a lot wider than just automobiles. And so, I think you're right about automobiles and the chip shortage. But I tell you, even auto sales were not as strong as we would have liked to them have been in December. And so I really believe that in 2022 the U.S. economy is slowing, and that we could unfortunately face what you and I would remember, not all of your would remember, but the late 1970s, early 80s, where we had stagflation. And if you look at it, you and I talked in the fall about inflation, and so many people in Washington were saying it was transitory. It's not lasting, and they've just been wrong, including the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell.
Yeah, who now
Inflation
says
is real.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now
It-
says
it's
they're going to
been with
raise interest rates 3 or 4 times this year.
Well, that's they just passed on the first chance last week, and even there, I don't think the Federal Reserve raising interest rates, I don't think is the best way to handle inflation. My dear friend and mentor Milton Friedman, the great Nobel Prize winner in economics from the University of Chicago, he was oftentimes quoted as saying that inflation is and always will be a monetary phenomenon. And so what the Fed, in my opinion, needs to do is reduce its balance sheet. In old terminology, reduce the monetary base. Let's not try to manipulate interest rates. Let's take money out of circulation. The federal government, for better or for worse, including monetary policy, stepped in to make certain that this horrible pandemic didn't turn into a depression, but they overshot the target. The monetary base in the last 4 years, and especially in the last year, has gone from about $4 trillion to 8.7, and it's going to grow between now and the next Federal Reserve meeting in March. There's just way too much money out there, and what we need to do is cut the money supply. Government's priming the pumps and putting way too much money out there, and that's why inflation's as high as it is. And unfortunately, it's going to get higher.
Yeah, and it's sort of a paradox that the Fed wants to raise interest rates. At the same time, the administration wants to spend even more money, which means they'll crank up the presses even faster. They don't go together, do they?
Well, what it does is like you said, conundrum and difficult economic policy. But the real problem today is we are spending. Our national debt is now just shy of $30 trillion. I mean, from 1776 to the election of Ronald Reagan in 1980, he took office in 1981. The national debt of these United States went from zero in 1776 to $908 billion at the end of 1980. And today we're at, last time I checked, which was last week, it's crazy the way it's been going up of late. You're at about $29.8 trillion. And, it's just not sustainable. When Reagan took office, the national debt was 35% of GDP, at above 130% during World War II. To fight for freedom around the world, and we went into debt for a very good and noble cause. Today, the national debt is 127% of GDP. And for what? We're just, as my mother used to say, we're spending like drunken sailors. We're having a good time, but we're not paying for it.
Doesn't that technically make us bankrupt?
Well,
as a technicality.
I don't think that we are yet, but I do think, we're the greatest economy in the world. We have assets, depending on how you measure land and, raw materials that are owned by local, state, and federal government, into the, way over $100 trillion. So in that measurement, the answer probably no, but what it does is it makes things a lot more difficult and a lot less flexible when it comes to financing things. How do we finance another pandemic? How do we finance if we have God forbid, a military incursion, or we need to defend ourselves or one of our allies? It makes us a much less flexible organization or country. And it's the same thing. If you or I run our debt up and we've got monthly payments on an automobile, on a home, on credit cards, it means there's a lot less that we can do.
Yeah.
But it's exactly the same with the federal government. And another thing your listeners ought to be concerned about is interest on the national debt. A bit younger, interest on the national debt wasn't one of the top 100 items in the federal budget deficit. You didn't even think about it. Today it's in the top 10.
Yeah.
And that's just paying interest on the national debt.
All right, Tim, hang on. I got to take a quick break here, and then we'll be back. We're talking to Dr. Tim Nash. He is the director of the Mcnair Center at Northwood University. They publish a monthly economic outlook. We're talking about the economic outlook of the United States, and we'll do more of that after these notes.
Hey, team, it's a full house. We got to pick up the pace.
At Hank's Restaurant, the line goes around the block.
Is this for 12? Okay, I need the truffle oil drizzle.
What he needs is another line cook.
Oh, man. Are the quail breasts still in the sous vide? Dave, can you keep an eye on...
Help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks open mixed. There is merger news. Citrix Systems, a company that creates digital workspaces in the cloud, is being sold to 2 investment firms for $16.5 billion. Vista Equity Partners and Evergreen Coast Capital will take the company private, and stockholders will receive $104 for each share they own. Elevator and escalator company Otis Worldwide saw its profit improve in the recent quarter. It's selling more equipment and providing more services. Fashion company Ralph Lauren is working with Franklin Venture Partners to invest in with a focus on women-led businesses. Ralph Lauren says it recently invested in a fabric that behaves like nylon but was developed from cotton. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Costola, invested in you.
Biden's massive spending plan has expanded America's money supply and taken money out of your pocket. But you can fight back against runaway inflation by sheltering your IRA or 401k with Gold through Birch Gold Group. This is Stephen K. Bannon, and I'm proud to be a customer of Birch Gold. Join me. Birch Gold has created a free info kit on protecting your retirement with gold and a tax shelter to 989898. Text shelter to 989898 and learn how to shelter your IRA or 401k with gold.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
Progressive is America's #1 motorcycle insurer, so we understand motorcycles. No, really, we have a bike translator.
Okay, this is awkward, but this bike says he'd appreciate it if you removed his skull pattern saddlebag. Self-conscious about them around all the other bikes, and he says you're not fooling anyone. You mostly ride with your golfing buddies. Listen, I'm just the messenger here. Oh no, I don't want to say that. I think you made yourself clear.
Quote with Progressive and see if you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer, Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
When you fill your prescriptions at Walgreens, you can track the progress of your order in real time. Know the price of your prescriptions before you go to pick them up. And anytime you have questions, use Pharmacy Chat to ask an expert 24 hours a day. Help with your meds from Walgreens. Side effects may include breathing a little easier because your prescription stress melted away. Learn more on the Walgreens app.
This price isn't final. This is an estimated price based on your insurance coverage.
The Saginaw Spirit play here.
Left side, one time, Mangoni. He scores! Caleb Mangoni, and the Spirit have regained a 3-goal lead.
After an entertaining victory against the Flint Firebirds, the Saginaw Spirit hit the road again as they take on the Sarnia Sting. Coverage begins Tuesday night starting at 6:50 p.m. on 100.5 FM News Radio WSGW. The Spirit are back home this weekend. Visit SaginawSpirit.com for ticket information.
Saginaw Spirit Hockey is on WSGW.
And we're back with you talking to Dr. Timothy Nash, who is the director of the Mcnair Center at Northwood University, talking about the economy. So, Tim, let's talk for a little bit about the United States' place in the world. As was noted in this monthly economic outlook that was published by Mcnair, at the turn of, let's say, the 1900s, and the Industrial Revolution, the United States was by far and away the most dominant economic power in the world. That's lost some of its luster, hasn't it? Have we been asleep at the wheel, or have the other countries just simply put their foot to the gas pedal?
At the United States, we are still by far and away the largest single economy in the world. And we produce almost 25% of the world's GDP, and we consist of 4% of the world's population. Our per capita GDP, dwarfs China, which produces about 17% of the world's GDP, and has a population billion to our 330 million. But certainly the trend line does not favor the United States, and the trend line does not favor North America, say, versus Asia. At the end of World War II and the early beginnings of some people describe as the Second Industrial Revolution, in 1968 we produced almost 40% of the world's GDP, and North America produced almost 45%, adding Canada and Mexico. The Mexico and the United States produce 27% of the world's GDP, and Asia, now with growing China and India, South Korea, Taiwan, Japan, they produce 33% of the world's GDP. So it's much more of a balance, and it's much more of a competitive economy, and part of it, I think, is due to we become an over-regulated business climate in some cases, and our taxes are a lot higher than many of our competitors, especially on business.
Let me, we've got a caller waiting for us, and I've got some other questions to ask too, but let's take the caller. Chris is in Saginaw. Chris, you're on with Dr. Nash. Good morning.
Good morning. Chris Pacitas, Northwood graduate, 1968.
Oh.
Hello, Chris. Orville B. Watts was my economics professor at that time.
One of my heroes, Dr. Watts.
Yeah, and his assistant was David Fry.
Who went on to be president, right?
My heroes.
Yes. The question I have, Dr. Nash, is that our economy, prior to our current situation with the administration pretty much kicking us in where, but prior to that, we were doing extremely well, and we didn't seem to gain a lot on the monetary situation with the euro versus the dollar. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, the dollar, Chris, is still the world's reserve currency, and the other to make is that when you look at what happened with the euro, the advent of the euro is that you had Europe basically say we're going to become an economic union, not a political union, but they banded together to compete against the United States. So they formed a common currency, and there are pluses and minuses to the common currency overall. The currency has allowed the members of the European Union to compete, but it also puts a lot of constraints. And so recently, as you know, England got out of the European Monetary Accord, and they've gone back to producing the British pound, and the Swiss never got into it because the Swiss did not want, the government that we all know government uses three ways to finance activity. They tax, they borrow, and they inflate. And the Swiss especially were worried that the European Union was going to inflate a lot more than they should. And so I would simply say that from an economic perspective, what Europe did to form the European Union in many ways was very smart. But from a currency perspective, they have managed their currency actually, I would say, probably a little better than we have. Our currency has been pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Decade or so.
All right, Chris. Hey, appreciate the call.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye-bye now. All right. So we have a number of questions here that I'm looking at in front of me. I'm going to kind of reverse them, though. I want to start with this one. Every day we hear about the stock market. It's up, it's down. Is it a measure of the health of the economy? Is it a good measure of the health of the economy? Should we pay that much attention to it? Obviously, we do in our portfolios, but as a measure of the health of the economy, is it really reliant?
Well, I think the stock market in general is a good measure of the economy, and certainly the direction of the economy. But we'd be remiss if we didn't say that just like a number of other things, the stock market has gone up because of inflationary policies of the federal government. You noted earlier, Art, that we've been spending a lot more than we need to. We've overshot what we've needed to spend to get the economy out of a deep dive from COVID-19. And then the second point is we've put trillions of dollars into the economy that we should not have. And the end result is what inflation is when you have excess money chasing goods, services, and assets. So if the money supply is increasing at a faster pace than goods, services, and assets, that's what you do with money. Money's a claim on a good, a service, or an asset. And right now, you can simply say that if the government prints too much money, prices go up and they services or assets. the biggest measurement of assets in this country are the stock markets. And so prices are inflated in the stock market. And I think what you're seeing right now is a logical correction.
All right, hang on. I got to take a quick break. We're talking to Dr. Timothy Nash. He is the director of the Mcnair Center at Northwood University as we talk about the economic outlook for the United States. And we will do more of it when we return.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here always giving you the deals that you need. You can get tons of half-off deals going on right now from Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Palette, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Liberty Mutual Insurance Company present.
And Doug. Don't you just love the smell of old books?
This is a library.
Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction.
It really does devour literature.
Please leave.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? Because we care about Medicare, so you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
The WSGW Morning Team.
I just saw this online. Oh, this is great. This is coming out of Quebec. Apparently last Thursday, the Canadian province announced new rules on Thursday requiring vaccine passports for anyone wishing to buy alcohol and marijuana.
Oh.
Before Thursday, the average daily number of first dose appointments were 1,500. Last Friday, 6,000.
All right.
And if you didn't see that,
Take note, Washington. There is a way.
Yes, it does work. Incentives work.
Oh, that's great.
Love it.
The Morning Team, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
broadcasting from the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center Studios, 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
Hi, we're back with you talking to Dr. Timothy Nash. He is the director of the Mcnair Center for the Advancement of Free Enterprise and Entrepreneurship at Northwood University, talking about the economic outlook for the United States. And one of my colleagues, Tim, has posted a couple of questions, so let me just read them to you. What are your views on quantitative easing, and did bailing out the financial sector actually help the middle class?
Well, certainly I think that the quantitative easing by the Federal Reserve Bank, our central bank, was something that was necessary due to the sharp and constraint on the economy that COVID-19 created. As a result of bailing out the economy and getting it on stable ground in the short term, it helped everybody, and certainly the middle class. So we would have had massive unemployment, which is going to lower the middle class the most and first in an economic downturn. So, my answer would be yes.
Let's go back to talking about our position in the world for a minute. One of the things that Donald Trump did when he came into office was took a look at our trade agreements. As a nation, we seem to be pretty good at negotiating free trade agreements, but rarely were they fair trade agreements. How are we doing in that arena, and how does that impact our economy?
Well, Art, I've said numerous times that I wish my dear friend Milton Friedman were alive today. He died in 2006, and I think he is greatly missed. I think that Donald Trump, as much as I voted for Donald Trump, I had certain issues with his bombastic personality.
Welcome to my world.
In general, yeah. But in general, I thought that the president was spot on in a number of these areas. The other part that I would make is, how do you negotiate free trade with a country that is a unique mix in American history of communism and capitalism, like China? The Chinese have used every opportunity to their benefit to manipulate trade, and so as a result, if you could do business in China, you can't own. A company comes to the United States, a foreign country, as long as it's cleared by legally in the United States, can own 100% of a company. We can't own 100% of a Chinese company. And in fact, I think it's still difficult for us to earn more, or to own more than 49% of a company. Shanghai venture between General Motors and China, in which the Chinese regional government in Shanghai owns more than 50% of the company. And then there's what can they do with our intellectual property rights?
Yeah,
you're constantly needing to protect your intellectual property rights. So there's a lot of truth to that. We need to make certain that if we're going to trade, and I am a huge advocate of global trade, we need to look out for the intellectual property and the overall interests of the U.S. economy.
Yep.
And there are a lot of strategic things. Even a free trader like me would say there's something called the national defense argument. And it's not just today. The pandemic's made things really, really clear that we hadn't necessarily thought about. Certainly you don't trade technology for fighter jets with your enemy. That's part of a national defense argument.
They've stolen most of the technology anyway.
Yeah, and that's true probably in a lot of cases. But in terms of a pandemic, things like certain pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
Do we want them being produced outside of the United States?
Yeah.
No. And so we need to rethink some of these notions of not just fair versus free trade, but fair versus strategically beneficial trade is the way I might put it.
Here's a question from a caller, and this is one of those great theoretical questions. I love it. It says, did Nixon getting the dollar off the gold standard help or hurt us in the long term? Was it Nixon? Well, I guess so.
Yeah, Nixon.
Yep.
Nixon closed the gold window. Your caller's correct.
Yep.
And I would simply say to you that I think that there is I am either a gold standard. I would simply say to you that if you look at a dollar, and any of your viewers can go to any of these inflation calculators, and on the one hand we can say, gold is antiquated or gold doesn't make a difference. But look at a dollar today versus a dollar in 1960 or 1970, and the purchasing power of the U.S. dollar has dramatically declined because there's no real strong barometer of inflation, and there's no strong hedge against inflation built into the monetary policy. My mentor Milton Friedman called for a monetary rule, in which he said, by law, by rule, you need to limit the amount of money that's produced. You couldn't expand money more than GDP, which would keep inflation. A gold standard does it automatically because you can only expand money based on more gold, and the value of the currency may go up, and that's an interesting conversation maybe for another day. But the caller's right. going off the gold standard has allowed massive inflation built into the economy. Think about my dad used to say, Art, you could go to a movie theater when he was a kid. My dad passed away a few years ago. So this would have been in the late 1930s. He would go to a movie, see 2 movies, and get a candy bar for 25 cents.
Yep.
Now, your viewers, what does it cost to go to see one movie and get a candy bar today? There's a great example of inflation.
Well, it's 25, but it's dollars.
Yeah, right.
When you think about it. Tim, I got to take one more break, and then I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a chance to pre-think this, because just as the dollar became a Federal Reserve note off the gold standard, and we weren't sure what its value is anymore, let's talk about Bitcoin and cybercurrency. When we return, we're talking to Dr. Timothy Nash, the director of the Mcnair Center at Northwood University. More ahead.
Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish, forsaking all others?
I do.
I do.
And now, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you roommates. Go forth.
That's not the vow you took. But if struggles with CPAP have you and your spouse sleeping in separate rooms, it might be time to look into Inspire. Inspire works inside the body with just the click of a remote. That's right, just a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you. Review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Watching TaxSlayer calculate your refund feels climbing to the apex of a roller coaster. Here we go! And flying down the tracks. At maximum refund speed. Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
EW Morning Team Show.
Lionel Richie is going to be honored. The Library of Congress bestowing the Gershwin Prize for Popular Song upon Lionel Richie.
Oh.
Is there a better musical story we could have this morning than this story?
Well, Charlie, it's funny that you say that because guess what? There is. If Lionel decides that he wants to play at Pine Knob, he'll be able to say he's playing at Pine Knob. Pine Knob is Pine Knob again.
Which is what everybody called it anyway.
Well, yeah,
The naming contract ran out.
Yeah, the naming contract ran out. Your first Pine Knob concert?
Me, Jay Giles.
Dave?
It was a Motown act.
Oh, nice. I'm a little ashamed to name mine, but I went to. It was Donkin, Cinderella, and the headliner, Poison. Whoa!
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I once saw Barry Manilow there, too.
Well, hey, Barry, that's all right.
It was one of the best concerts I ever saw in my life.
I bet.
At Pine Knob.
The Morning Team Show, weekdays 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
Trying to find when and where you can hear the Tigers, Red Wings, Michigan football and basketball, Saginaw Spirit hockey, and SVSU football on WSGW? Just click on the sports broadcast box on WSGW.com for complete game time listings. That's WSGW.com.
And we're back with you as we talk to Dr. Timothy Nash from Northwood University and the Mcnair Center. And so I left you with that question before the break, Tim. We have this big push around the world for cyber currency based on what I don't know, because I have to admit, I haven't studied it very much and don't understand it very well. Is it the wave of the future, and what's it going to do for us?
Well, certainly I think it is a form of currency that is here to stay. Again, Art, I would simply say that if I really, truly understood Bitcoin and some of the other, I would be at least speaking with you from my island home in the Caribbean somewhere. I've owned a few of the cyber currencies in mine and my better half's investment portfolio. But here's what I would say to your listeners. Currency, as I said earlier, all we want in an economy today is an advanced form of barter. You trade what you do, for WSGW for currency, and then in many economies, you could simply barter. You trade your services for other services. The old example in an economics textbook is, I produce pots and pans, you produce butter, I give you a pot and pan, and you give me a week's supply or a month's supply of butter. And all currency does is it allows for a more advanced form of barter. And then, as we were talking about gold before, the reason why the world chose gold and silver for literally millennium at a time is because it's very difficult to gold or silver, and it's recognized around the world. So it's recognizable. It has this ability to be a store of value. The great Austrian economist, also a Nobel Prize winner, Friedrich von Hayek, he differed with his friend and colleague Ludwig von Mises. Von Mises said money should always be gold and silver. And Hayek said money should be whatever the market determines. Could be gold, could be silver. There were debates historically, why not make it oil? Computer chips, you were talking about computer chips. So the market can choose many different things, and Bitcoin, certainly is a market money. The problem with Bitcoin is it's based on other currencies, and somebody like me, I just don't have enough time in the day to really understand Bitcoin, to be as knowledgeable as I would like to be, for you and your listeners. But again, the market has spoken. There are people that are buying the currency and they're transacting in the currency, and they're doing it because they've lost faith in a lot of governmental currencies. And then secondarily, we ought not lose sight of the fact that they're also doing it because they can get around currency laws.
Yeah,
I think so. One of the real concerns is that there's a lot of illegal substances being.
Yeah. I have to wonder, Tim, when I look at Bitcoin, and I really don't know a lot about it. If I take a dollar bill out of my pocket, I'm pretty sure I can go into the store and I can get whatever today's dollar's worth of material is. Bitcoin to me looks like a crapshoot. It's a risk investment, isn't it?
Oh no, it absolutely is. And again, our people forget that before we reined in money in the 1800s, you had multiple banks in Michigan in the 1800s that could produce their own currency.
Sure.
And the problem was some people would accept it, to your point, and some people would not. I'm trying to think of which of the Central American countries decided to invest a lot of their country's currency in Bitcoin, right before Christmas. And it might have been El Salvador. And, the Bitcoin's collapsed. I was watching this morning in the pre-trading on the U.S. commodities markets. And my God, to your point, your purchasing power, your asset value is now half of what it was when you were buying into it and expecting it to go to $100,000 a coin. It's below 40 right now.
All right. So in closing here, let me leave the last minute or two for you to give us your forecast for 2022.
I think 2022 is going to be a year when, if we're together at the end of the year and talking about it, I really believe that U.S. GDP is going to be finishing the year at 1 or 2% growth. And I would not be surprised if we were in this year or the beginning of 2022. You see that the economy is of slowing, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that We are looking to increase taxes. I think the Biden administration's wrong there. And we're looking to increase regulations. There are so many things that the Biden administration is doing that's increasing the cost of doing business in the United States. And if those two things continue, you're going to see a Republican landslide in the House and the Senate, and you're going to see an economy that needs to move away from its leftward trend with the Biden administration and produce an economy that's more open to free enterprise and open competition.
Let me ask Tim, can someone get the monthly economic outlook from Northwood, from the Mcnair Center?
Sure. If they send me an email at tgnash@northwood.edu, or if they send something to you and you forward it to me, then we can make sure they get it on a monthly basis. Also, if you buy the Midland Daily News, it's always in the Midland Daily News every month.
Very good.
It's published in the Midland Daily News as well.
Well, Dr. Nash, it is always fun. I mean, I look forward to it. Hopefully we can get back to the auto show this year and do it there. Otherwise, I promise before the year's out, we will do this again.
Well, it's always a pleasure for me, Art, and you're one of my favorite people, one of my favorite journalists. You're upbeat, you're well informed, and you just got a great show. So it's an honor to always be with you, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, sir. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
You too, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Timothy Nash from Northwood University, where he is the director of the Mcnair Center for Advancement of Free Enterprise and Entrepreneurship. We thank him for being with us, and we'll be back to close out the Art Lewis Show right after these notes.
Shop Menard's full selection of over 7,000 interior lights. Find your style with Patriot Lighting's great selection of unique styles and finishes, like our Samuel Lighting collection. The vintage industrial design comes in a bold bronze finish with clear glass shades that show off the vintage style bulbs. Add rustic elegance today with a Samuel 5-light chandelier, on sale just $149.99. Save big money with Patriot Lighting now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a
Just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's been a challenging year. Asking for help can be hard, but finding it doesn't have to be. If you need help with your energy and other bills, call 211 or visit mi211.org for access to the help you need.
This special message about help available brought to you courtesy of Consumers Energy and WSGW.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You know you can hear my outdoor magazine show Sunday mornings, 9 till noon on WSGW. But now there's another option. Saturday morning, 6 till 9. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information, hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
All right, that's going to do it for the Art Lewis Show. Again, my thanks to Dr. Timothy Nash for spending the hour with us. We truly appreciate his knowledge and information. We're going to take time out now for news. CBS at the top of the hour on the national and international scene. We'll have a local report for you featuring the Great Lakes Bay region and the state of Michigan. On Focus, we will talk to folks from Applied Training Solutions. All of that is ahead this morning.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center Studios.
This is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kafin. The United Nations Security Council has just voted to hold a public meeting on the buildup of Russian troops on Ukraine's border. American Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield.
This is about peace and security. It's about honoring charter that calls on us as members of the Security Council to protect peace and security.
Russia accuses the U.S. of trying to create hysteria over Ukraine. New developments in a high-profile murder case. CBS's Jim Krasula says a deal is generating sharp backlash.
Federal prosecutors have reached plea agreements with 2 of the 3 white men facing federal hate crimes charges for the 2020 murder of Ahmaud Arbery in coastal Brunswick, Georgia. The 3 were convicted in state court of murdering the 25-year-old unarmed black man as he jogged in the neighborhood. Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, told the New York Times she'll try to persuade the judge to reject the agreements. She said, quote, "The prosecutors went behind my back. I'm totally upset."
Joe Rogan has apologized to Spotify over the new criticism of his podcast from musicians who say it's a dispensary for COVID misinformation. But in the same breath on Instagram, he defends it and his guests.
I think there's a lot of people of what I do, maybe based on sound bites or based on headlines of articles that are disparaging.
Spotify is posting a content advisory for any podcast that discusses the pandemic. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has apologized again in the House of Commons for lockdown parties held at his residence in 2022 and 21 after a report blamed failures of leadership and judgment.
I want to say sorry. And I'm sorry for the things we simply didn't get right, and also sorry for the way that this matter has been handled.
Johnson has resisted calls to resign. CBS's Jerika Duncan has more on the death of former Miss USA and TV personality Chesley Chris, who police say jumped from a New York City high-rise.
Chris was a former Division I athlete and wrote about having to be hospitalized for overworking herself while earning her law degree along with an MBA at the
lot to make sure that I maintain my mental health. And the most important thing that I did is talk to a counselor.
She was a mental health advocate, speaking out on World Mental Health Day, and last March wrote about her reflections on turning 30. She penned an essay for Allure, writing, "Turning 30 feels like a cold reminder that I'm running out of time to matter in society's eyes."
And on Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 16 points. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
Finding great candidates. Well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. Smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right. Free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
And now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that non-contact thermometers are not accurate. They also have inaccurate information on their labels regarding accuracy. New COVID strains are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Switch to Exergen. Backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
27 degrees at 11:00. I'm Ann Williams. The DNR is accepting applications for 2 conservation officer academies to be offered this year. Applications are due by Monday, February 28th. The first 2 steps to applying for the academy is a physical fitness test and entry-level law enforcement exam. You can sign up for the physical fitness test through the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards at various locations around the state, including at Delta College on February 13th. Applicants are not required to have a college education, background in law enforcement, or fish and game experience. All recruits receive comprehensive training during the academy. In our conservation officers during their first assignments after graduation, visit the Michigan DNR website for more information. Gas prices are down 2 cents in Michigan from last week to a statewide average of $3.22 a gallon. That's 13 cents more than last month and 82 cents more than this time last year. The highest prices are in Marquette at $3.28 a gallon, with the least expensive in Traverse City at $3.15 a gallon. There were 26,000 new cases of coronavirus on Friday in Michigan, a 2-day total. There were also 173 deaths. WSGW News Time is 11:07.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and Navage? And should I try it? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. It's the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Nasal irrigation is an effective, all-natural way to clean your nose. It's not a drug. It's more like plumbing. Saline goes in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and germs. And I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. It's the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Over 2 million sold. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
WSGW News Time is 11:08. The opioid crisis shows no signs of letting up in Michigan. Here's more from Armetta Landrum.
Increase in opioid experiencing a spike in overdoses after 2 years of declining numbers. According to state data, the greatest increases in all drug and opioid overdoses were seen among Black and Hispanic Michiganders, exacerbating an already troubling health disparity. Last summer, the Michigan Opioids Task Force voted to form a racial equity workshop to ensure that all opioid-related work is done with an equity lens.
That was Armetta Landrum reporting. Michigan saw the highest number of enrollments in the health insurance marketplace since 2017. Michael Cohen has this report.
More than 303,000 Michiganders enrolled in a plan on the marketplace during the recent open enrollment period. That represents a nearly 14% increase over enrollment numbers for 2020. Governor Gretchen Whitmer says she's thankful to the federal government for making this a successful enrollment period. For most Michiganders, the next opportunity to enroll in a marketplace health plan will be in the enrollment period for 2023 coverage, which begins on November 1st of this year. Michael Cohen for the Michigan News Network.
There's an online petition to keep MSU's online and remote classes available. Today, students will return to campus and face-to-face instruction. For the past 3 weeks, students have been taking classes online. Currently gaining traction, it's an attempt to persuade MSU to offer a virtual option for every class in the future. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom, 752-0790. It's 11:10. I'm Ann Williams.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Skies will become mostly sunny here for today with a high around 30 degrees. We'll have winds out of the south around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, increasing cloud cover and a low around 20. By Tuesday, a slight chance for some rain showers here late, mostly cloudy skies, a high 40 degrees. Then by Wednesday, a chance 1 to 2 inches possible to accumulate. Cloudy sky conditions, a high around 29. Thursday, a chance for snow showers here, cloudy, high around 20 degrees. Then by Friday, partial sunshine, a high around 16. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology Forecast. Currently, it's 24.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio and online, WSGW.com.
And welcome to another edition of Focus here on WSGW. From my Saginaw Spirit Home studio, Focus is sponsored by RoofMax, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out about RoofMax online at roofmax.com or call Ben at 989-859-6751. That's RoofMax. I'm Art Lewis, and today we are going to learn about Applied Training Solutions. And to help us do that, its owner, Jason Bennett, is with us this morning. Jason, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How are you?
Hey, we're doing well. Thanks for being with us. I have a lot of curiosity about your company, so this is going to be an interesting time. I think we need to start, though, with an overview of what Applied Training Solutions is all about and what you do and how it's different from most others.
So we are a full firearms training company that leverages today's latest digital technology. So just over a year ago, two business partners were upset with the high cost of ammo. And
if you could find it.
Oh, yeah. And the supply shortage for sure. And we started looking around to see what was out there. And we came upon a great simulator system. Next Level Training has firearms trainers called CERT lasers. We'd already been using those in our training regiments and doing CPL classes. So the next part of that was digital simulator that could offer dry fire training to help offset that high cost and scarcity of ammo. And that's what we've done. So at the Midland Mall, we've built 3 digital training ranges. A lot of people want to stop and think that we're an arcade. We're not an arcade. We're an actual firearms training company that's just leveraging technology to help out with the cost of ammo.
Prior to all this, and because the cost of ammo is what you were really concerned about, were you a live fire range at one time?
No.
Okay.
No, we were doing CPL classes, utilizing different public ranges to do those CPL classes. And we were just sitting around talking one day with one of our students, and we're like, man, ammo is just out of sight. We had just spent $125 for 500 rounds of 22 long rifle.
Wow.
In the summer, that had only been $30.
Yeah.
And when our classes, we provide the firearm and the ammunition for the class, and we were letting students shoot for times. Well, when ammo's $30 for 500 rounds, you can do that. When it's $125 for 500 rounds,
yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
No, that's for sure. I have to ask, in terms of firearms training, in terms of handling a weapon, using your digital product to learn, am I going to walk away with the feeling I need to successfully fire a weapon and not be surprised by, for example, recoil?
That is a great question. And yes, you are going to be prepared, because not only in addition to the Next Level Training CERT lasers, we're also using laser ammo recoil-enabled firearms. So what these do, they use green gas, and every time you squeeze the trigger, you get a pop The slide reciprocates just like a real firearm, and it uses an infrared laser versus the visible red laser of the SIRT. So you have to use those good marksmanship fundamentals. So you get that pop and that bang. It's very similar to what a 22 long rifle is. And we have Glocks and SIGs that are set up to train with that recoil-enabled ability.
So the weight of the weapon is the same too. Then I'm going to feel the weight.
Yeah. Yep. The SIRT lasers and the laser ammo reel laser trainers are all weighted to feel like the actual firearm.
Now,
so the Glocks from Laser Ammo are made on Glock tooling. So these are high-end replicas.
Sure. Yeah. Am I, able to take any of these courses at home, CPL or anything?
So there are some places out there that do online CPL courses. The state mandates a minimum of 30 live fire rounds fired. So I don't know how those online providers are getting around that.
But you don't do that.
We don't do that.
In other words, we have to come to the Midland Mall to use your
Correct.
facility, which is a great thing anyway, because I mean, if we're going to train somebody to use a weapon, I want them to have something in their hand when they do it. All right. Hang on, Jason. I have to take a break. We'll come back. We're talking to Jason Bennett, one of the owners of Applied Training Solutions. We'll talk more about their various courses and how they can train you with firearms when we return here on Focus.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a Roof Max shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money, guaranteed with Roof Max, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call 859-6751.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Has this ever happened to you? My friend was telling me about his new pair of headphones, so I looked. Now, everywhere I go is a creepy ad for those headphones I looked at one time. I hate that feeling like I'm being watched. I got DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. It's that simple. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here always giving you the deals that you need. You can get tons of half-off deals going on right now from Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Going wide. Cuts out in front of the Red Wing goal. Slows it down. Shoots. Pickard the save. And the Red Wings win the game in a shootout.
The Red Wings play 7 on 790 News Radio WSGW.
You are in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios of 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. We're talking to Jason Bennett from Applied Training Solutions. By the way, the Applied Training Solutions is our Rocket Grab deal of the week. We'll tell you more about that toward the end of the program here. Jason, let me set up a scenario for you because data has taught us this year and last year that a whole bunch of new folks have come into gun ownership that never had one before. If someone is going to buy, particularly a handgun of any kind, from your standpoint, what do they need to take in terms of basic training? What do they need to know?
So they need to understand the 4 universal safety rules of firearm ownership and have firearm safety classes that we're willing to do for free. So if you're a first-time gun owner, please reach out to us at info@simurange.com, and we'd love to schedule a time for you to come in and we can go over some of those basic safety rules. One, they need to treat all guns as though they're loaded. And then 2, never point your firearm at anything that you're not willing to destroy. 3, you keep your finger off the trigger and outside the trigger guard until you are on target, the decision to shoot. And then 4, always be sure of your target and know what's behind, in front of, and around the target.
Oh, God bless you. Amen.
These are our 4 universal safety rules. And one of the core principles here at Applied Training Solutions is growing that community of competent shooters. Myself and my business partner, Craig Moyers, we have combat experience, serving time in the military. And that's one of the things that we want people training to be able to make good, solid, competent decisions if they ever have to use their firearm in that defensive engagement.
Yeah.
And we give them the tools to do that through our video-based scenarios. So we have 65 video scenarios that allow you to exercise shoot or no shoot decision-making.
Wow.
And it's very similar to what law enforcement uses, like at the Genesee Regional Training Facility, or here at Delta with the Milo simulator. These are very similar technologies that we're using.
Let me ask, in terms of the length of time, someone wanting a CPL and have to take the CPL class from you, how long does that take?
So they're going to come into the store. They're going to do about 6 hours of classroom time. And part of that depends on, just the general number of questions. So we're right average in that 6 hour time frame. And then they're going to go out to our private live fire range. We're going to time with them, and they'll have that instructor for their live fire time. So they're not going to go out and shoot with an entire group. They're going to shoot by themselves with an instructor.
Can you do this in one day?
We can do one-day classes. We generally break it up over a weekend.
Okay.
We do the classroom portion on Saturday, and then we do the live fire portion on Sunday.
Very good.
It's a lot of information to take in, and we will do a fair amount of virtual shooting on our simulator classroom day. And then with these simulators, we've seen our ammo consumption go down by about 60%.
I'll bet. All right. So I mentioned Rocket Grab earlier, and right now, Applied Training Solutions is offering a 4-person private 60-minute firearm virtual training event, normally $100 for $50, and a CPL class from Applied Training Solutions, normally $150 for $75. Go to rocketgrabplus.com and you'll find those deals. Jason, I'm going to have to stop out and see you one of these times. You sound interesting and knowledgeable about your topic, and always appreciate that. We'll have to have you on again.
Opportunity.
All right. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jason Bennett, and he is with Applied Training Solutions, and it's I mean, for someone getting into owning a firearm, really is an absolute necessity that you are well trained and do it from an organization that knows what they're doing. We will take our last break, come back, and we'll find out what's happening in the marketplace from Baird & Company.
It's with Dakota Shelving at Menards. Dakota Shelving has the perfect storage solution with a variety of sizes and 8 attractive finishes. Right now, an 8-foot long, 11 3/4 by 3/4 inch shelf is just $9.99 after $5 rebate. Keep your space tidy with Designer's Image Cube Storage Organizers. Get an 11-inch fabric drawer free after rebate now at Menards. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish, forsaking all others?
I do.
I do.
And now, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you roommates. Go forth.
But if struggles with CPAP have you and your spouse sleeping in separate rooms, it might be time to look into Inspire. Inspire works inside the body with just a click of a remote. That's right, just a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you. Review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Keep the Saginaw Children's Zoo in mind while you're shopping for special gifts this year. Visit our website to purchase a membership. Make it a wild year and bring a gift from the zoo to your little ones. Stay connected to what's happening at the Saginaw by visiting our website at saginawzoo.com.
Saginaw Children's Zoo. How do you do?
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And
Don't you just love the smell of old books? Shh, this is a library. Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance So You Only Pay for What You Need. I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction. He really does devour literature. Please leave. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Really normal to be constipated with belly pain, straining, and bloating again and again.
No way. You could have a chronic condition called irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription